Oh no, why? Oh, you win the point anyway. Maybe not. Yeah, you deserve to lose that point. If you watch a professional match, what is every single, not even like just even a high level amateur, what is every single player doing when the ball is this high over the net? I can tell you what they're doing. They are, regardless of the spin, 110% power, smashing the hell out of that ball and going for a winner. I don't care about the rest of the point because that ball doesn't even have any spin on it, and you're pushing it and letting him loop, and everything else is irrelevant. It doesn't matter how good the rally is, it doesn't matter how good your shots are, it doesn't matter if your footwork is right, because any really good player wouldn't have let the point get to this spot where you're forced to play this crazy back end. You have to limit test. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Louie here, and welcome to another VOD review. Today I am going to be taking a look at Endra Forsaken. He had actually submitted a video about 3 years ago. It was one of my original VOD reviews, and so he is back now after practicing a little bit more, and we're going to be taking a look. And before I get started, I do want to just let you all know that I have quite a few submissions right now, and the way that I'm going to do it is basically I'm going to be doing the videos in the order that they were submitted. So I've gotten through these three, including today, of course, and then it'll be Justin Chen, Daniel Barto, Robert, and then Trip. That's the order that I'm going to be doing these in. And once I've gotten through all of these, if I have a Sunday or a day off where I don't have any submissions from you, those are the days where I'll be trying to do the pro analysis videos. If you didn't see my post, just so you're aware, WTT or ITTF basically copyright striked my video, and they are taking all of the ad revenue from it, despite the fact that it falls under fair use. So from now on, I've tweaked the requirements for the pro analysis just to make sure that that doesn't happen in the future. But anyway, let's go ahead and do a little bit of reading here. So equipment, but Stiga Dynasty Carbon, T-Bar K3 on both sides. Don't have any ratings, but provincial level. And trying to become overall better player, avoid easy mistakes, and make as much quality as possible. An overall understanding of the game I feel is the most important thing. Sometimes also working on my serve at the moment. Practice 3 to 5 times a week, depending on the week. I try to get at least one tournament, even if it's a small one. I stopped playing with coach around 8-9 months ago for money reasons. Something I would like to add, and my greatest mistakes that I just can't seem to avoid. 90% of my mistakes, the ball goes out. I almost never hit the net no matter the shot. I make a shot and I have a feeling it's 100% in and it just goes long. That goes for everything. Okay, that's actually a very, very common problem, and sorry, I'll take a look at that in the game. Don't know if it's an equipment thing. It's not an equipment thing. That's cope and or just my technique, but this is the thing I want you to look at in the video and help me fix. Is I'm having this problem for 1 year, slowly fixing it, but I feel I just overall become better, but that mistake is still there. Yeah, so we'll definitely take a look and see what's going on there. Now another thing, this is a friendly match between me and my teammate. I don't play here 100%. Let's say I play 80%. We train daily. He knows my game, I know his game, so it's something to keep in mind. Cool. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'll try to focus on the shots where you're missing out. However, if I notice anything else, I'm also going to try and point that out as well. Let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty. And our protagonist again is the player, the penhold player on the far side of the table. And I am going into this blend. I've watched like the first 30 seconds or so, but nothing more. That's good. It's solid. Okay, so you missed out there. Actually, I'm gonna keep watching before I make any comments. Might have just been a one-off. I am gonna make a comment on that point though. almost played that really, really well. Hang on, I gotta remember how to go frame by frame in YouTube. All right, so let's take a look at this in slow motion. You do a really, really good job. So he pushes wide. You do a really good job of getting to that ball. You play this deep, spinny shot right into his body. Look at how jammed he is trying to return this ball, right? It's really good. So he gives you this weak return. And then look at what you do. You just chop it high, and you basically let him right back into the point. And now suddenly you're playing defense for no reason. So what I like to call this is limit testing. You need to, if you want to improve, you have to limit test a little bit. And what that means is basically you can't be afraid to miss because you're playing the correct shot. And I'm sure if you watch this in slow motion, if this is Xu Xin or Ma Lin or any really, really good penhold player in this situation, I can tell you exactly what they're doing. They're taking this ball and they're looping it with their backhand deep into this corner to win the point. And is it a more risky shot than just kind of keeping it on the table? Yes. But is it the correct shot? Also yes. And so you have to be willing to miss in order to improve. And then yeah, you're kind of stuck in. You win the point, but like that's not how you want to win the point. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, so there you're not missing out because it's not your technique or your equipment. You're missing out because you're not reading his serve. My guess would be that when he tosses the ball, let's see. Your eyes, I think your eyes are like up here trying to find the ball. Your eyes should be down here looking at the paddle and waiting for the contact point. And you should be able to see that this is very clearly a topspin serve. And so if you push it, it's just going to go straight out. Even if that lands, it's going to be a really low quality high ball. Nice, that's really good. Perfect combination. Alright, so let's talk about the technique on this loop. Watch your footwork on this shot. Really good serve. And it looks like you know exactly what you want to do. You want a forehand loop. Look at your feet as you play this shot. That's why you miss out. I'll put it in your notes so that you remember it. But footwork should always, you have to think opposite. So anytime you're moving to the left, your right leg moves first. Anytime you're moving to the right, your left leg moves first. I'm sorry, you know what I mean. Anytime you move to your right, your left leg moves first. Anytime you move to your left, your right leg moves first. So when you're moving this direction, your left, this leg has to come in before this other leg comes out. Otherwise, you're really off balance. You end up on your heels, and that's why you're missing out. I remember like a while ago when I was doing your original match, you were kind of, I think you were playing to a robot, and your technique on the forehand is good. It's not a technique problem. Maybe his return caught you by surprise, actually. But I mean, if you're serving here and you're expecting the forehand, then your reaction time to move should be really quick. It should be, oh, okay, it's forehand, it's what I expected, and this leg should move. But instead, your other leg moves, and so you're really off balance as you play that shot, and you end up missing out. That's fine. That's good. Nice. Nice, that's a good point. So the only thing I'd say, so that was almost, you had basically the same opportunity you had earlier in the game there. Like you had this wide ball, and then this ball comes back, and you actually play your backhand here, which is really good. Now the only thing I would add is when you're playing these loops, limit test on the loops a little bit. I know you said in this match you're going like 80%. But if you want to improve, you need to limit test how fast you can play your loops without breaking your technique and without sacrificing any spin. And I can tell that these loops are like they're not even 80%. They're like 60%. And if you loop it just with a little bit more confidence, don't be afraid to miss, because you are gonna miss, but you'll end up winning a lot of these points quicker. Good point. Let's talk about something else as well. What are 99% of good players gonna do when you serve long to their forehand? The second you serve here, what should you be expecting? Because you serve long to the forehand, and you can also see his paddle. You should be expecting a loop. So the second you serve long to the forehand here, you should preemptively be moving to your forehand side and be ready to counter loop. And I know counter loop, especially if you haven't practiced it, sounds like this terribly scary shot that's difficult to play. It's not difficult if you're expecting it. It's just a mental. You have to mentally be aware of the fact that you served long, and mentally be aware of where he's most likely going to return the shot. So if you were mentally thinking counter loop from before you even served, you would probably be able to play a much stronger return than this. It's almost like a half block, just keep the ball on the table, low quality, puts the point back in his hands. And same thing with your feet. This looks like your biggest problem right now. It's definitely why you're missing out. This is really bad. We got to fix this right away. And normally I don't nitpick technique that like so much, but in this case it's such a detriment that you're not going to be able to. You can't start studying strategy and tactics until you have the fundamentals mastered. And right now your footwork is standing out as something that really needs some work. Yeah, so the reason you get beat deep there is, again, because you're not limit testing on the loops. This shot is good. Very deep. This shot is bad. Because it landed right here. The first shot was really deep, and you don't have to understand the tactics behind it yet. You just need to understand that deeper is better. Your shot needs to be deeper. The shot where it was deep and it landed right here, the block came to a very easy spot for you to reloop. Now this second one that's landing right here, you're opening up a ridiculously wide angle for your opponent to cover. So you're basically making it a lot harder for yourself. But even there, your footwork is late. You almost do it right, but you can see this leg, it's almost like you're getting ready to start running. Oops, let me go back a little bit. Watch your right leg. You recognize the ball comes wide, and your first instinct is to step with this leg and start running. Yes, there's weird technique, like, or advanced technique with the crossover where you can sometimes move this leg first, but we need to get this habit fixed because it's making you really late on this ball. And it also forces you to go further away from the table than you should be. You're not thinking ahead. So it's almost like when you served to his forehand. You're thinking serve to his backhand, win the point, and maybe like smash or something. What is he most likely going to do if you serve long to his backhand? He's most likely going to play cross court in some way, shape, or form. It's probably going to come pretty deep. So you either need to serve fast to his backhand and immediately be ready to pivot and play your forehand, or serve fast to his backhand and be ready to rip your own backhand fast. But instead, you serve fast to his backhand, and then you're surprised by his return, even though it's completely the most likely option. He's caught by surprise. He goes back. All he can do is kind of put it cross court, and you're surprised. Yeah, same thing. You're misreading the serve. It's not underspin. Watch it slowly. Watch his paddle. He pulls up. That's 100% topspin. And your paddle, from where you're starting, your paddle should be from here. Oops. Why are we transparent now? Let's fix that. Your paddle from right here should just be going forwards. You don't need to take this topspin ball and then lift up on it again, because that's going to make you miss out. But I think you know that. I think you know, like, if you were warming up with him and you're like, okay, let's warm up backhand to backhand, and he gives you a warm-up serve to your backhand, like just a simple warm-up topspin serve, so that you can rally backhand to backhand, I guarantee you don't play it with this technique. You keep your paddle lower and you just go forwards. You don't lift up on the ball and float it out. So I don't think it's a matter if you don't know the technique. It's a matter of you're not quite reading the serve right, and you're just kind of hoping that it's the spin that you want. Excuse the noise in the background if you can hear it. My cat is meowing very loudly. Yeah, so let's talk about the technique on the backhand here and the backhand to backhand. You're quirking your wrist and your paddle back as if you're looping underspin, and then you're lifting really, really far up on this ball. And just almost like you... So your racket angle starts here and finishes here. And you're kind of wrapping your paddle around the ball. Almost like kind of moving your angle throughout the shot. Ideally, your paddle should start with one angle and finish with that same angle, and it should just be a straight line between those 2 points. So if you're looping underspin, maybe your paddle starts with this angle, finishes with this angle, and the movement kind of looks like this. If you're looping topspin, the paddle can maybe start at this angle, finish at this angle, or maybe it starts at this angle and finishes at this angle. Like, it doesn't really matter. You'll get the feeling for it on its own, but you don't want to start at one angle and then finish at another angle. And think of it into, like, imagine if you started with this angle and finished with this angle. Obviously that's terrible. It's the same if you're hooking around the ball the other way. You don't want to make a circle with your paddle or a semicircle with your paddle. You want it to be just a straight line from start to finish, not a semicircle. And that's why you miss out on that ball. That's good. So everything is good except for the random block. That random block, limit test, try to counter loop. So here, counter loop. Everything else is good. Not bad. It'll come with time, just your placement. The reason that rally is so long when it shouldn't be is just because your placement is slightly shallow. Like, if your placement was a little bit deeper, a little bit higher quality, I guarantee that you win the point a little bit quicker. And if you aren't used to pushing yourself to playing at that tempo, you're 100,000,000% gonna make mistakes, but you can't be afraid to lose in order to improve. You're gonna have to limit test a little bit. Oh no, why? Oh, you win the point anyway. Maybe not. Yeah, you deserve to lose that point. If you watch a professional match, what is every single, not even like just even a high level amateur, what is every single player doing when the ball is this high over the net? I can tell you what they're doing. They are, regardless of the spin, 110% power, smashing the hell out of that ball and going for a winner. I don't care about the rest of the point because that ball doesn't even have any spin on it, and you're pushing it and letting him loop. And everything else is irrelevant. It doesn't matter how good the rally is, it doesn't matter how good your shots are, it doesn't matter if your footwork is right, because any really good player wouldn't have let the point get to this spot where you're forced to play this crazy back end. You have to limit test. I think I've already got my notes for you. I might not need to watch much more. Nice shots. No, I got my notes for you. Alright, these are hard notes, so you're gonna have to work hard for this, but here we go. Firstly, footwork exercise. 30 minutes per practice section. If that means you have to play less games, then so be it, because this needs to be fixed. You start with 10 minutes, 2 backhand, 2 forehand. Next 10 minutes, 2 backhand, 1 or 2 forehand. Next 5 minutes, 1 backhand, or sorry, 1 or 2 backhand. Cannot type today. Backhand, 2 forehand. Next 5 minutes, 1 or 2 backhand, 1 or 2 forehand. Footwork needs to be perfect. So go as slow as you need to ensure that whatever direction you are moving, the other leg always moves first. No exceptions. The randomness will help you mentally. You simulate the same type of randomness you can expect in a match. Okay, next note. When your opponent is serving, stop looking at the ball, look at the paddle. You should know what spin is on the ball as they're making contact, not as it's hitting your paddle. Imagine, I know you know how to play the correct shot. Imagine if I gave you a warm-up serve to your backhand so that we can rally backhand to backhand. You should be returning a topspin serve in game the exact same way you would return this hypothetical warm-up serve. Limit test way more. And I'm going to be checking this the next match. The next match you submit, I need to see at least 3 points per game where you do something you are uncomfortable doing, but that you know is technically correct. For example, if your opponent's serve return comes a little high, I don't care if you miss, you need to kill it with 110% power. This is the only way to keep improving. And it is 100% going to cause you to miss shots and lose games at first, but then eventually you'll notice they start to land and you improve. Okay, so here's your notes. Let me open up Paint just to make sure you understand what I mean by 2 backhand, 2 forehand. So let's draw a table. That'll do. Whoops. And you're playing right here. So basically, you're playing everything to your opponent's backhand. So you're playing everything right here, no matter what. All of your shots are landing here. The first 10 minutes, it's 2 backhands right here, 2 forehands right here. So you're playing both of your forehands down the line, you're playing both of your backhands cross court. Then after that, it's 2 backhands here still, 1 or 2 forehands here. Then next 5 minutes, vice versa. It's 1 backhand, 1 or 2 forehands, and then finally 1 or 2 and also 1 or 2. So basically you're always practicing this side-to-side movement. You don't want to move backwards. If you notice yourself moving backwards, then put a barrier behind yourself so that if you move backwards, you run into it, and mentally it's going to force you to stay close to the table. And move your opposite leg first. So when you're moving left, move your right leg first. When you're moving right, move your left leg first. So these are difficult notes, like I said. Good luck. I want to see another video from you. And the next submission, I need a clip of this. So you're not allowed to just submit a match on its own. You also have to submit this clip along with your match so that I can make sure that you're actually doing these notes. But good luck. Your game looks a lot better than it did 3 years ago. So I'm pretty confident that you can keep improving. But before I get into higher level tactics, we need to fix your footwork. And nothing else matters. Trying to think. I'll give you the note about the backhand as well. I don't want to give you too much to think about at much, but on the backhand against topspin, whatever angle you start with is the angle you need to finish with as well. So, like I was kind of drawing out, that means if you, for example, start with a 45-degree angle, you should finish with a 45-degree angle, no semicircles. And again, at the extremely high, like professional level, you will see players make a very slight semicircle on the shot, but we need fundamentals first. We need to get the fundamentals right. And then once we've got the fundamentals right, we can look at some more advanced stuff. But on the backhand against topspin, whatever angle you start with is the angle you need to finish with. As well, no semicircle, straight line only. But that's going to do it for this VOD review. I hope that everyone enjoyed it. And Nick, I hope that it was helpful for you as well. If you did enjoy the video, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And that's going to do it for today. Until next time, adios.